All right, we are officially recording this call. I have to remember, people can't just pop in now. I have to watch that waiting room and make sure I let people in as they request to join, those that are coming late. Okay, I know a lot of people, well, I was having this conversation with a girl that's been in my challenge group for about a year. She's going to be a coach. She's going to sign up when she gets off work tonight. So she's super excited about that because it's been like a year-long process. And she asked me this question. She's like, hey, Scottie, I would love, I told her, hey, I know you're not signed up till tonight, but you're welcome to hop on our team call it was like an hour. I told her it was like an hour ago. And she's like, oh, I would love to. And I know you do your team meetings at in the middle of the day, but I'm at work. What's the best thing for me? And so for her, I shared, if you can't be on live, you can watch the playback, watch the recording. I feel like it's always better. It's better for me when I'm on live and present because you can ask questions. And there's just a different energy, when you see people face to face and you're there present versus watching it back. I mean, you can still get value when you watch it back. A lot of my first year, as I'm thinking back, Gabby would be at work and I would have my 3 girls, ages 4, 2, and 6 weeks old. And it would be right before their bedtime, kind of like Hannah is right now, bathing her little ones. And I would have it blasting on the TV, the team call that Lindsay, and I would catch maybe 5 minutes of the hour-long conversation, and then I would have to just listen back the next day. So I'm just I totally understand when people have to work. So if you have coaches on your team, I want you to know that the playback is always available of these calls. I record every single one of them. And so if you can't be on live, you can always catch the playback. But what I want you to know that I shared with my friend that's going to become a coach tonight is that we have a couple of leaders that do team calls in the evenings. They're consistently doing team calls in the evening, and they always are welcome to having anybody join their team calls. So for example, Tate does evening calls, Beth does evening calls. I'm sure Hannah would let you hop on a team call sometime if you want. She's over in the UK, so a midday call for her is in the evening for us over here in the US. So I just want you guys to know that if you can't be on these live and you need that live team call, you have that option. So I don't really have much to do with announcements before we just start chatting. Obviously, we have the 30-day breakaway launch that's going on right now. If you were wanting to get into running and you have an audience that might want to be getting into running, this is a great opportunity for you to work on re-engaging previous customers or clients into another program or getting them restarted, or reaching a market that you might not have been able to reach before, including people that don't have very much access to weights. Yes, this program has some weights, but not as much as some of the other ones need. So it's a great opportunity for you to have that launch inside of your business. So take advantage of it. Today's call is not a structured call on a topic. I want to hear from you guys and what you guys need. And then I'm here to answer questions. And then there's other people here that might have answers for your questions as well. But the only other announcement that I do have is many of us leaders of the Dynasty Strong team that are 5-star diamond and above will be attending the annual leadership retreat. And what I want you to know and to aim for in the future, the leadership retreat, this would be my 9th one. We were going to be in Scottsdale, but obviously because of the corona, it's a virtual event. But they sent this gift box for this virtual event, and there's 30 gifts in here. And I don't know how we're going to use them all as a part of the virtual event, but Beachbody treats you so good when you put in the work and you earn things like Success Club or the Success Club trips or leadership retreat. This would have been our 9th one. They really take care of us, and I feel absolutely blessed for that. And that event is this weekend. So Gabby and I will be watching the virtual leadership retreat. Beth Isbell, Tate Cox, Brigitte, a lot of her leaders, Jennifer Greenberg, some of her leaders. So I will not be really present in the team page. I mean, I'll be there. Actually, I will. I'm going to take what I'm learning and share new announcements and stuff with you guys inside of the team page. But next week's team call, which will be this time, Wednesday next week, I will be taking all of my notes from the leadership retreat, all the new announcements, any training that I learn about, and the team call will be specifically the recap of that. So make sure that you're on that. And that's all I really have for announcements. So what I want to do now and please don't be shy, is I want to hear from you on what you need. What questions do you have about anything with your coaching business or your own health and fitness transformation? And you can just unmute yourself and ask. And by the way, Beachbody Bevy mixed with Energize is amazing.
Hey, Scottie, I have a question for you.
What's up, Courtney?
I'm a relatively new coach on Duana's team.
Awesome.
Account coach right now who's looking to make that transition into being like, I don't want to say a real boy, but a real coach.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed in the market, especially with this 30-day breakaway, because I'm a runner and marathoner, is pretty saturated. So what are your recommendations of how to get out there and maybe find some new grass to grow, so I'm not, hitting the same people that may already be signed up or already have their own training program?
Yeah, I think that's great. And the answer or the direction I want to go with this will apply to everything with you recruiting a customer into your challenge group or a customer / coach into your team, is when you say the words, this market is saturated in any form. In your form, you're talking about this runner's market. My market is saturated with running. If you have or hold on to or maintain that belief, you won't take the action to get them. And I love that you're asking the question, but I want to help hit that root issue of getting rid of the word saturated, that the market is saturated in any form for you. So my advice would be, there's two ways I want to look at this. Number one, you have to look outside of, let's say this two ways. I want you to think of I know you can't just do that right now, but after leaving this call, think of every human you've ever come in contact with. The cashier at the Dollar Tree, the person next to you in the Walmart checkout line, maybe you're helping kids at school or a coworker. I want you to think there's the people who run because you're a runner, and then there's the people who don't. And I guarantee you, if you look outside of maybe what you follow just on social media with running, because you're a marathoner, that 9 out of 10 people don't run and don't exercise regularly. Okay. So that is your market, those 9 people versus that one that's already the marathoner or already the runner. So you have to get rid of that first, that mindset, that word that my market is saturated for this, and then and that forces you to step outside the box and say, who are all of the people who are not exercising, who might be struggling with obesity or their weight or their cholesterol levels or any of those things, and say, that's the person that I can serve with this. Okay, that's one part of it. The second part, when I hear that question, is you have a huge opportunity to recruit coaches into your business that love running. And those people, maybe they're passionate about running and they're healthy and fit. And obviously they have their friends that are like crazy runners like they are, right? They just love running. It's all they think about. But that person also has people that are probably like, man, I wish I had the energy to run like she does. I wish I had the energy to run like Courtney does. And Courtney, because most humans have the desire to help somebody else, those people, your market, let's say, that are already running, or marathoners or triathletes or ultra marathon runners, they probably have people who they inspire, who look up to them for their commitment in running. That's a great coach opportunity for them to say, hey, I have a platform where you can help these people that are inspired by your running get started on their own journey of health and fitness through running, which is your passion. Does that make sense?
It totally does. Yeah. I the mindset shift. I think that's really getting me past that block that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. And when I think about that, Courtney, I think about when the whole Corona thing started happening. I had to really shift my mindset, and luckily I did it within a week or two. But it was I remember hearing about the toilet paper shortage and and I was like, I got to check this out because I don't leave my house much. I work from home. And so I go to the store and I'm like, holy crap, there's none of it. This is real stuff. Right. And then our church got closed, and then school got closed, and then Beachbody trips got canceled. And I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. And then my mindset was like, everybody's losing their jobs or not getting paid. Like my business is going to really get hit. Like my ability to recruit customers and also my ability for my coaches to build their business because everybody's panicked and scared, right? So that was a mindset that I had. And I shifted it to, holy crap, my coaches are going to have, oh, let me let some people in here. I shifted it to, oh, wow, my coaches that are struggling with having enough time to build their business, that love coaching, have all of the time in the world now that they're home to go out and help people with this business. And oh my gosh, all the gyms are closing. Look at how many people need a home fitness solution. And so I shifted my mindset in that moment. And it was like I was like in a week of that funk. And I shifted my mindset. And then the last 6 to 8 months have been, in my own personal ability to recruit customers and coaches and the team's ability to grow, we have done like 3 times what we normally do. And all it was a mindset shift. Like, instead of saying, oh, this is the problem, saying, okay, this is going on. What is the solution and how can we serve people? So it's kind of the same mindset shift that we're talking about with helping people with the running program. That was a great question. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And welcome Cheryl and Amanda, who we got onto the call. Sorry about that waiting room. I always forget about that and then see people waiting over there. What other questions might we have?
Well, Scottie, while you're talking about mindset, I've actually got a call happening tomorrow night, my time, or 8:15 my time, which is what?
1:15 Mountain Time.
Something like that. And it's a lady who she's in the Dynasty Transform. She's actually going to share with us her story and how she's made it specifically about mindset. Okay. And anyone would be welcome to join onto that.
Okay, awesome.
She's got a very powerful story actually. So I'll share the link in the page and anyone's welcome to hop on.
Okay, so Dynasty Strong team page. Hannah is going to share a link to that team call tomorrow on mindset. And that is at 1:15 Mountain Time, 3:15 Eastern. So it'll be 12:15 noon Pacific time. So if you want to be on that call, that would be a great opportunity for you if you need more work on mindset, or sometimes just listening to someone's story that might have been in the same mindset that you're at and how they overcame that is empowering to you. So awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Okay, what other questions do we have? I know.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Hannah. Yeah.
So I'm just really interested to know. So how do you go about promoting a program at like one of the launches if you're not personally doing it yourself? So for example, a 30-day breakaway, like I'm doing Body Beast at the moment. How would you recommend? Because I've always done all of the launches. Yeah. So I'd just be interested how you do that.
This is an interesting topic because I'll share just my experience with some of these. So there's been workout programs that came out and I'm truly like committed to doing something. So let's just say like right now I'm doing Body Beast. So in the past I've done Body Beast a lot. It was my soulmate program and I'm doing it and I'm loving it. And I remember Lift 4 came out with Joel, and that's just never really been my style of workout. Like with the HIIT cardio 2 days and lifting 2 days, I like lifting 5 or 6 days a week. So it came out and I was like, I'm just going to keep doing my Body Beast and I'll just talk about the program and give all the details and let people know that it's available. And I started doing that, and I had a few people that are like, oh my gosh, I love Joel's program. Like I did Quarter Force. I love Joel. I want to do it. And so they obviously, these are people who are doing programs already from Beachbody, and they want to do something else, or they like the trainer. And so they're like, okay, I want to do that. And so people hopped on board. And then I listened to a national wake up call that was like, if you want to have the most success with a program launch, you have to do that program yourself. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And we were spending 2 months, the entire summer with our kids in Salt Lake City. We rented a house, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll do Lift 4. And I did Lift 4, and it was during a Team Cup. And so I like set high goals for the Team Cup. I did Lift 4. I shared like all of the test group before after pictures and like an album of the Lift 4. And I'm like, check out these results. I'm going to totally go in and do this program. And like I recruited for that launch. And I know we'll get to your question on this, Hannah, but I did it. And for 2 months in a row, I had Success Club like 35 to 40. And I normally do 10 to 20 and not often more than 20. And so I had really great, and it was funny because I listened to the national wake up call that said, if you want to have the most success with the program, or launching the program, do the program and have people do it with you. And so I did it. The same thing happened with Morning Meltdown 100. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that workout. Like Body Beast is my jam. Turns out I did Morning Meltdown twice, and many of my coaches and my customers did it with me, and they absolutely loved it. Had an incredible launch and a great boost in business as well. So now to finally get to your question, Hannah, on this is I personally am not doing 30-day breakaway right now, but I do have some coaches who I do have some customers who have gone on to do it, but it's like very few. Okay. So my advice to you in this is, or what I've done to get those few people to jump on board with it is I did the sample workout. I've done it 3 different times. I've talked about it on my stories, and just like when I did it, I was like, this is not really my jam, but I'm just trying something new. And right now, this is my goals of doing Body Beast. And I've had a few people jump on board. But what I would do if this is not your jam and you don't think it's really going to be for the right people, like obviously I think it's great because it can reach a new market of people you might not be able to reach right now. But if you want to feel like this is what I do. If you want to feel like or feel the momentum of a launch, but you don't want to do, let's say, 30-day breakaway, my advice would be you launch Body Beast. Like you treat Body Beast because like it's your first time doing it and you probably haven't recommended that program to very many people at all. So what I would do is just, even though it's not new, I would act as if it was new, like you were launching. Like there's this incredible, strength and muscle building program. You've been seeing me do it. I'm going to run a test group and help, X amount of however many people want to see result. And obviously they see the results you're getting, and treat Body Beast in a launch form like you would 30-day breakaway. Instead of trying to fake 30-day breakaway, do your Body Beast and try to be like, oh, this program's amazing, but you're not doing it, which is not congruent with the truth, which is you're not going to see as greater results when you're not congruent with the truth. Then what I would do personally is launch Body Beast. I mean, you'll get the same amount of Success Club points, new customers on Shakeology or the Performance Line and BOD doing that as you would with the 30-day breakaway. So I hope that helps you out. So that's personally what I would do. I wouldn't try to do, if you're staying on course with your Body Beast, like obviously I would let people know about the 30-day breakaway, but I would treat Body Beast like a launch with the supplements. Okay. And I see Lori's on with us now. Hi, Lori. Okay, any other questions for today? Anything you might need help with? Lori texted hi. Okay, if we don't have any more questions, Hannah's got to go. She's putting her kids to bed. So, okay, Thanks for asking those questions, Hannah. If we don't have any more questions, we're going to hop off of this call for today. But if you do have a question, stop me before I end this out. But I do want to remind you guys that Hannah has the team call tomorrow with a guest speaker talking about mindset. And that is at 12:15 Pacific, 1:15 Mountain. That would be 2:15 Central, 3:15 Eastern, and 8:15 over in the UK. So I am going to let you guys go. Unless, Emmanuel, I see your video on. Do you have a question before I go? Okay, I'll unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute you. It just says ask to unmute.
Hey, Scottie.
Hey, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you good.
Okay, so my question is, I guess this is a question that is asked all the time, is how do you start working on the coaching business if all you've been doing is the workouts?
Great question. So the question is, how do I get started on building my business if we've just been doing the workouts? Okay, so the way to get started on your business, it can feel complicated, but it's really simple. And I want to break down, and this might be for somebody who's might watch this, who's a customer, or you're a brand new coach and you haven't started taking the steps yet. I think when something seems really complicated, it's hard to take the first steps. But if you understand it in its simplicity, then it's easier to take the steps. And then part two is once you decide, okay, there's simplicity behind this concept, I'm going to do it. Now, what are the steps I do? Then we have what we call the Success Club System Activity Tracker that tells you exactly what a coach should do every single day. So I want to break it down and then share a little bit about the Success Club System Activity Tracker for those of you that might not have started building your business yet, but you're doing the workouts. So first, what I want you to know is the most successful coaches that I've seen in Team Beachbody. For example, I shouted out, well, let's just talk about my two personally sponsored coaches that have hit the $1 Million Club, which means they've earned $1 million with their business. This isn't in a year. It's just since they started up until they hit that point, it's called the $1 Million Club. So one of them, the first one was Brigitte Linford. The second one was Jennifer Greenberg. Small backstory, Brigitte Linford watched what I was doing. She saw a post about me making extra payments on our mortgage to pay off our house, about that goal I had of paying off our house and being debt free. She's like, how does somebody pay extra money on their mortgage like that? I don't understand that. And so she started looking at my social media, looking at the transformation photos. I was doing what was called the Shakeology Spotlight, where I spotlighted every single day one of the ingredients and the health benefits of that ingredient. She started looking at that. She was at the time running and not seeing results. So she's like, okay, these guys have results. She looked through all those pictures. So she went and bought Shakeology and P90X, and her and her husband did it. Together, they lost 50 pounds in 3 months. So she's a customer. She's using Shakeology. She's using P90X. She knows there's an opportunity to be a coach there, but first she was doing that customer experience. Kind of like what you're talking about, Emmanuel, like I'm doing the work, like I'm in the process of doing the workouts. So that's where she was at, doing the workouts. Then she decided to become a coach. She reached out to me. We got her started as a coach. I helped her figure out what her why and her goal was. And with you, Emmanuel, I know you've recently sent me your vision board, like your goals, so you're clear on that. So you're like at that step right now, getting results of the programs, before, after picture, seeing results, passionate about it. Now you're got clear on your goals and your vision. So you're at that step right now. So with Brigitte, the next step was simply helping her understand you need to set monthly goals. And the monthly goal for her was Success Club 10. That was the goal that she will, together with what we were talking about, set for herself. Okay, and she hit Success Club 10 every month since she started, since she made that decision. And then at 4 years later, 3.5 to 4 years later, I can't remember the exact date, she hit the $1 Million Club. Hit Success Club 10 every year, went on to do that, okay? Jennifer Greenberg, small story. Her and I met before I became a coach through the P90X like page on Facebook. So we got connected. We both loved P90X, doing P90X. She was blogging about P90X. I was blogging about P90X. So I followed her blog. She followed my blog. We started connecting like that. 8 months later, I become a coach. I invite her to become a coach. She didn't join me right away. But a couple weeks later, she wasn't a coach yet, but this is what she was doing. I want you to think about this in part of the answer to your question, Emmanuel. She started talking to her friends like, hey, I love P90X. These are my results. I absolutely feel amazing doing it. I'm thinking about becoming a coach. Like my friend became one, and this is why. Like, would you be interested? She started talking to her friends about that. One of her friends said, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And so that's what made her make the decision, like, okay, I'm going to be a coach. Like, I know I could get someone on board with me. And so she called me and said, hey, I have a friend that wants to sign up. And it was funny. I don't think we talk about this or haven't, but she's like, I want to sign up before she does so she could be on my team and I don't have to be on her team, because I told her about it. So she jumped on, signed up, and then signed her first coach. She went on to become a Million Club member 5 years in. But what I want you to know about her too, like I share that Brigitte hit Success Club 10 every month and went on to build, that $1 million business. Jennifer didn't hit Success Club, didn't hit Diamond until 14 months in, didn't hit Success Club monthly until her 18th month. Like she hit it here and there. So those are two stories. Okay. Now I want to break down the simplicity of how to build a Team Beachbody business. Number one, you're already doing really well, Emmanuel, at this part. It's fall in love with the programs and products and work on yourself and start seeing results. That's the number one job. There's 3 parts of coaching, of building a coach business. That's the first part. So you've got that down. That's being proof the products work, basically. You're using your Shakeology, your supplements, following your meal plan, doing your workouts, seeing results. Step number 2 is you start sharing those results with other people. And that includes everything from sharing on your social media what you're doing and having one-on-one conversations with other people. And step number 2, the whole process is doing all of that stuff to help somebody else start their journey and see results like you have. That's the whole step number 2 of coaching, is to share your story, market, find referrals, find people that you can get started on the workout programs, meal plans, Shakeology, all that stuff as well, and help them see results. That's step number 2 of coaching. And that, as a coach in your business, you earn retail commissions for that. 40% on Beachbody On Demand subscriptions, 25% on supplements, right? And your job is to help hold them accountable and get results. That's step number 2. Step number 3, and the final step of coaching, is help transition. Either 2 things are going to happen with that client. 1, they're going to remain a faithful client and they continue using their product, or, well, they remain a faithful client. Maybe they don't want to be a coach and they can refer people to you. Maybe coaching is never in the books for them, but because they're a faithful client and you've helped them, they'll happily refer people to you. And that gets you more retail business, right? Or that client becomes a true Beachbody advocate. And the true Beachbody advocate in this sense means they're like, okay, I love this. I love the results I'm getting. I want to pay that forward and help other people. Pay it forward and help other people for multiple reasons. Maybe because that's fulfilling to them. They love that process, or they want to earn income, extra income to pay off their debt, any of that stuff, right? So you help transition them from a customer into a coach. And that whole step number 3 involves you then teaching them how to do to other people what you did for them. Does that make sense? That's the simplicity of a coaching business. Like if you see the business that I have today, 9.5 years later, I just do that process, that circle of process every single day. That's it. So that kind of helps make it not seem so complicated. I'm working on myself, marketing so I can find new people, helping them get results. And then number 3, either getting referrals from them or helping transition them into coaching, and then teaching them how to help other people, right? Those are the 3 steps. So once now, Emmanuel, and I think Karen's with you, then once you have that, hi, I thought I saw you for a minute. Once you got that understanding, okay, this is what coaching is, I'm ready to do that. Then basically the Success Club system activity tracker, then it's making the decision, okay, I'm going to build my business. This is my goal. Like you showed me your vision. like, here's my short-term goals. I'm going to go to Diamond in 90 days. I'm going to hit Success Club 10 every month, whatever your goal is, right? I'm going to recruit 3 coaches a month and 2 customers, or I'm going to recruit 3 customers a month and 2 coaches a month. Like, set concrete, solid goals. And then that Success Club activity tracker is going to walk you through basically all the little steps that'll help you do those 3 things that I told you about. It's going to include, like, do your workout, drink your shake, read personal development, post on your Instagram stories 8 times a day, add a value post on social media, start 5 new conversations, follow up with 5 people, invite 5 people, support your challenge group and your team page, right? Those are all the steps that are outlined in that Success Club system activity tracker. And if you think about it, all of those little steps, all of those activities help you do that thing, those 3 things that involve, this is what Team Beachbody is: working on myself, finding customers, helping them get results, and then helping those customers become coaches and helping those coaches help other people. Does that make sense? So your next step then is make those concrete goals that align with and help take you towards that vision, and then following that Success Club system tracker every day with faith that, okay, this tracker was put together by coaches who have seen success. I have to trust the process that if I do these things every day, that the result will follow.
Perfect.
Cool. I know it's kind of a long answer, but I wanted to, like, I think if someone really understands the simplicity of it, then it's like, okay, then I can take the steps. I don't want you to worry about, like, this is how this part of the compensation plan works, or this, I need to have this many coaches on this leg and this leg to be a 1-star or a 5-star. Or this is how the elite points work. Like, right now, like, you'll pick up those little things as you go, but just for right now, focus on those small, like that small concept of, so like the next step literally for you, like, think about a staircase. You might not see, and it's dark, you don't see the top, but you can see the next couple of steps. So for you in the place you're at right now, it's like, okay, the next steps is I need to keep working on myself, my personal development, my own workouts, sharing my story, like reaching out to people and inviting, and I need to get a couple of coaches started and a couple of customers started and start helping them see results. Like, that's all you need to work on right now.
Right.
And then obviously, like, I'm your direct sponsor. So let's say you have a coach that's ready to sign up, then, like, I don't want you to stress about it so that you're not taking that action. We're just knowing that you can text me and say, hey, Scottie, like, I got a coach that's ready to sign up. How should I place them? And then you can learn step by step, or I would be like, okay, tell me a little bit about this person. I would open it up, show you how your downline works, your graphical placement. And I would say, okay, if I were you, I would place them here.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Totally.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was a great question.
I'm looking forward to reconnecting with a lot of people.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited for you. You got that vision, like, you sent over the picture of your vision board, and I love that, man.
Yeah, it was nice to actually put it out on paper and pictures, and to actually give myself kind of some clarity.
Yeah.
It's reassuring, is actually what it is. It's very reassuring to see all those goals, and it just feels like it's real now.
Yep. I'm re-listening to the book Think and Grow Rich. I have like 30 minutes left. It's like a 10-hour and 30-minute audio. And it was just and remember, I talked about on the last team call that I listened to that over 60 times my first year. Just like reiterating the fact of, like, having a burning desire to achieve something, and then becoming kind of like obsessed about that goal and that vision. And when I think back to every experience that I've had where we've hit a goal, whether it was this team being a top 10 team, or it was paying off my mortgage by a certain amount of time, or whether it was retiring my father from his job, like, I got that idea, like, it would be so cool to be able to retire my dad or my mom, right? Any of these goals that I set, or pay off my house. And then I would think about that goal, and then I would start to become, I don't really like the word obsessed. I would become obsessed with that thought. Like, and then what happens is when it just becomes a burning desire. And I talked about it with my coaches. I talked about it with my customers. I talked about it on my social media. And then the magical thing happened where the universe and God brought the right people into my life that helped us achieve those goals. And it's funny how it illuminated ideas as well inside of myself that I hadn't thought about on how to make that happen. Like, I'll give you an idea. Like with my dad, I was like, we figured out how much my parents needed to make for me to replace both their incomes because my mom was already working for me. They wouldn't have health insurance anymore. My dad was like 58 at the time. And I'm like, okay, I need to pay them about $100,000 a year to be able to give them the opportunity to stay at home. And like, I had that, but I was like, I had other personal goals too. I was working on with vacation rentals and other investments and stuff. But as I started to think about it, I was like, oh, like when it became that burning desire, the thoughts, the ideas came to my mind of like, they're both coaches and they've been coaches since July of 2011. Why don't I help them know how to become an Emerald coach and then Ruby and Diamond, because they're using the products for 9 years. And because I understand the compensation plan, why don't I just place coaches that are my coaches, personally sponsored by me, inside their legs and build them volume and income. And so all of those ideas came after I had that burning desire of this is what I'm going to do. Right. And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to pay them $100,000 a year, that's it's like $8,000 a month. What I'll do, and all these ideas came after. It wasn't like a mentor telling me or anything. It was like having that burning desire. And then everything started to, like, my mind became more open to all of the ideas that would make that possible. And then the ideas came of like, okay, well, if my dad caps out his Emerald business at $250 a week and my mom does, that's $500 a week. And that's $2,000 a month. What I could do is just, they get that $2,000 a month direct to their account because they're coaches. And then I pay them $6,000 instead of $8,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But all of those things came right after I made the decision, concrete decision of, okay, I'm going to retire my dad. Right? So making sure that you get concrete on those goals. The same thing happened with paying off our mortgage. I set a specific date to be recognized at Summit for that. And it became so clear to me. I think I told this briefly, but I have some new people on here, so I'm going to say it. I remember they announced on a national week, our Super Saturday, like, we're going to give this award. It's right here. This Financial Freedom Award to anybody that has a coach that has no debt because of Team Beachbody. And that means no mortgage either. Like no car payments, no mortgage, no debt whatsoever. And the only debt I had at that time was my mortgage. And I'm like, oh my God. And what they said is they're like, if you hit this goal and have no mortgage, we're going to let you burn your mortgage papers on stage at Summit. And so I already I'd already like started working towards paying off my house. Cause I told you about Brigida's story where I was talking about paying extra to my mortgage, but it was going to be like a 5-year process. And to be able to hit this goal, it was like 6 months. It was like 6 months for me to do that. And I'll tell you, I had exactly $100,000 that I owed on my mortgage when I heard that statement of, we're going to give this award. Whoever earns it gets to go on stage and burn their mortgage on stage at Summit. At $100,000, is like January, the beginning of the year. Summit's in June. So I have $100,000 that I need to pay off by June. Okay. Beachbody is my full-time job at this time. It's our only income. At this time, I was making with my business about $118,000 a year. Okay. $118,000 a year. I needed to pay $100,000 to our mortgage in 6 months to hit that Summit deadline. Impossible. Look at the numbers. That's impossible, right? If you just look at numbers and facts, that's an impossible number to hit. But I became obsessed because I already had the goal to pay off my house. I became obsessed with the idea of standing on the stage in front of 12,000 people and paying off my mortgage and inspiring other people to become debt-free. I became obsessed about it. And every day in my personal development, I have I still have a hot tub in my backyard, and I would talk about it on my social media. I would sit in the hot tub and I would look at my house like a weirdo and talk out loud to myself in the morning and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like we don't owe anything on this house. Like this house is ours. Like this feels so amazing that we've paid that off. And I'm only like 30 years old. I would talk out loud like that in my backyard at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And so.
And this was,
impossible.
sorry, Scottie, was this all even before you paid it off? You were already saying it?
Yeah, this is like January of the year that they announced that at Super Saturday. And it was June that I had to have it paid off by June, $100,000. And I'm only making like $114,000 a year at that point. If you look at my weekly income. So I was acting as if I had already done it every single morning. Like I'd already done, like it was done. It was paid off. You want to hear the craziest thing? We paid it off 5 weeks before. Well, I heard then they talk about summit deadlines, recognition deadlines. We had to have it done 6 weeks before summit.
Wow.
So it cut off 6 more weeks because they have a summit. It's usually in May sometime, the summit deadline for recognition. And so I had even less time. Emmanuel, a magical thing happened. It's one of those things I can't teach other than what I said that I did in my backyard in the hot tub, is that we paid it off 5 weeks before that 5-week deadline.
Wow.
5 weeks before that 5-week deadline. And that's one of those things, like, I can't tell you, this is what I did to increase our income by this amount. But when I look back at the numbers, Emmanuel, like it took me 14 months to get to $2,000 a week, which is where we were at, just a little more. It took 5 weeks to go from $2,000 a week to $3,000 a week. But I can't tell you this is how I did it. Like, other than the fact that I became obsessed with the idea and I visualized it every single day in the hot tub in the backyard of what it felt like to have it paid off and to stand on that stage and like light that thing up and inspire 15,000 people to become debt free as well. Like that was the secret. There was no, I recruited 10 more coaches a month than I normally did. There was none of that stuff. Does that make sense? I can't give you a step-by-step of this is how I did my getting started right call different, or I changed up my challenge group to get more engagement, or I brought on guest speakers that we hadn't had. Like, there's none of that stuff. It was the burning desire, clear, it's already happened. And then God in the universe helped the rest happen. Obviously, I kept working. I kept hitting Success Club 10. I kept doing getting started right calls. I kept showing up to my team calls, whether people came or not. I kept going to Super Saturdays. I kept doing all of the things on the Success Club system activity tracker. But I had a clear burning desire and goal for what I wanted.
That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. It's really just your belief and your burning desire, like you were saying.
It is.
It's all manifested.
Yeah. And so I believe when you get clear on that, those visions that you have, like you have to, like when you're driving with your wife right now, like talk to her like those things on your vision board they've already happened. Right? The same thing happened when we were a top 10 team. Like I claimed that we're going to be number 5 in the company. We ended up at number 4. And I told this story before. Tamara wasn't here. Lori wasn't here. So I'm going to say it again. For Super Saturday, they bring a corporate person. You know how there's like Doug Moss and Michael Neiman and all those. So they send someone to the local Super Saturday to celebrate the coach becoming a top 10 coach. They brought a huge gift basket of Italy stuff and all of the gifts to make this announcement that top 10, right? And it's in my hometown. So it's all of my local friends and coaches are there. And I just remember them afterwards, like congratulating me and what we did with the team. And they're like, Scottie, like this has got to feel like so incredible. Like, tell me how it feels. And I'm like, feels like a normal day because like I've already like seen this celebration for the past 365 days. Like it was done in January of last year. Like it was already done in my mind. So like I've already received this basket and been told we're going to Italy like at least 365 times. So it's just like a normal day. It's like not that, like obviously I was excited and like proud of what the team did, but to help solidify the fact, like I lived that as if it was like my subconscious thought that I'd already been awarded officially Success Club 10, top 10 already like over 300 times.
Wow.
So that helps solidify the need, like your belief, like I don't want you to think like I have this invincible, like I believe mindset, because that's not true. Or we would have a superstar diamond team or a superstar 3 diamond team. I still have places where I haven't solidified that yet. But I know that once I do, it'll just happen. And people will say like, what did you do? Like, did you, like, what steps did you take? And all it will be is like, I stopped doing XYZ and started visualizing as if it's happened. And then I acted like that person. That make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
Can I give you guys one small story just from this last year? So it's a little more vulnerable and up to date. So my belief we'll just say it got shattered. Okay. About 3-4 years ago. Went through a super hard time in our marriage. Like we were separated for a short amount of time. Gabby and I were. That shattered my confidence as just a human. So that was shattered. We had as a team between all 4 of our business centers, we had 26 active diamond and above coaches. 17 of them got recruited to another company and were gone like that. Our second business center went from a paid 9-star diamond to a paid diamond. Like every diamond in that business center left. My third business center lost 1. My first went from 14-star diamond to 4 in like a month. Okay. So then my belief at that time was like all of these questions, like what could I have done? Like, was I not a good enough friend? Did we not have enough trust? Maybe I'm not a good leader. Maybe I could have built this relationship better. And then all those beliefs, a real leader would have been able to see this happen before and kept this from happening. And all of those led to, I'm not a very good leader. Does that make sense? We missed elite after 5 years. We missed elite because I had that mindset. We missed elite again. And then the next year we hit premier, but we still missed elite. During that time, I still had one solid belief though, that I could still hit successful. I could find customers and coaches and I could help them get results. So I really believed that. And that's the time like I really poured in and we helped Chris get the Beachbody Challenge. Like I believed that, but I didn't believe that I was a very good leader or that something was missing or wrong with me. And it's crazy. I was talking with my corporate mentor, Keyshawn Graves, and I'm like, Keyshawn, I don't know what's going on. Like I'm recruiting 3 to 5 coaches a month all year, and only one of them hits Success Club every single month. Only one of them. Like there's something wrong. And she's like, oh, let's just talk about everything you're doing. What do your getting started right calls look like? And I went through it. This is what I'm doing. What do you have your coaches do when they start? I told them what I'm doing. Do you do this? I'm like, yes, I'm doing this. She's like, you're doing all of the things that the current top 10 and elite coaches are doing. It's like, you're doing all of the things right. And so I'm like, so then what's wrong? And we just kept talking and I'm like, well, I just really don't feel like I'm like a good leader. Why do you feel like that? And I'm like, well, here's one thing that I know gets me down. And I told her, you know, the memories on Facebook or the time hop, they pop up and I see pictures on a Success Club trip or a diamond trip. A diamond trip we went to Dominican. And like almost all of them are gone. And it's like, and I see that, and then I'm like, it reiterates my belief that I'm just not that good of a leader because all those people left. And she's like, and she just helped breathe belief into me again. She said, do you think you would have hit elite 5 times, been a top 10 team, all these things if you didn't have leadership abilities? And I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like, okay, we couldn't have done that. And she's like, you need to create a new belief because this is damaging your belief system. Like, it's hurting you. It's not serving you, this belief that you're having. And so it was so simple. This is going to sound so crazy. She's like, okay, when you see those memories pop up, or you see that person or that person, and you think like, oh my gosh, they left. Like, I'm not that great of a leader. She's like, I want you to create a new belief, say a new thing about that. So if you see, I'm just going to name, I'll say Lori. Lori's not one, obviously she's here, but let's say you see a picture of you and Lori at a leadership event. Instead of saying like, I'm not a very good leader because she went on to do X, Y, Z, I want you to say, I'm so grateful for the time I spent with Lori, because during the time that the 3 years I worked with Lori, we were able to pay off our mortgage. We were able to lead this team to the top 10, which gave us an amazing trip with Gabby to Italy. And every time that you see that, or see one of these, or have one of these moments, right? I want you to just say something positive about it. Like, okay, every time that I see this person, okay, I'm so grateful for the time that I spent with this person because we had so many great memories doing this. Like, I loved how we, on a Success Club trip one time, we like acted like these old dorky dads, and we walked into the nightclub and like, we're just like messing around making videos, drinking water while everybody was like drinking. And that was so fun, the time I spent with them. Right? So all I did was switch that. Okay. Because remember, I was recruiting the same amount of coaches, hitting Success Club 10, but they weren't advancing to Diamond. They weren't hitting Success Club, which then in turn led to, we didn't get the elite points and we didn't get the new diamonds to be an elite team. Right? So I made that shift within 3 months. We had 3 new coaches become Diamond on our team, and like 5 new coaches that hadn't been hitting Success Club monthly. And Emmanuel, you've been a coach with me for over a year. Magically, Emmanuel is showing up on team calls and posting on social media, on Instagram, and tagging me every single day. Emmanuel, I don't know how that happened, other than the fact that I changed that belief system. I still did the same steps. The Success Club system activity tracker, work hard on my own fitness, always done it. Personal development, always doing it. Inviting, always doing it. Recruiting customers and coaches, always doing it. But the result was different based on the mindset and the beliefs that I had. Cool? Okay.
Very cool. Thank you so much for actually sharing that story. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
So yeah, so we will, I'm going to say to you guys, we are a superstar diamond team. Tamara, you're one of those. Manuel, you're one of those. Lori, you're one of those. Lacey, you're one of those. Kay, you're one of those. And Amanda, you're part of that because you're part of the downline too. You're one of our coaches, Juana. So, okay. We're at the hour, so we're going to hop off this call. I got a call with Chris Pandolfo and then Hannah right after that. So if any of you guys ever need to chat one-on-one, just text me or Facebook message me. That's what I'm here for, okay? Okay, we'll see you guys later. Have a great day.